Well guys, it's raining out there, nothing really much else to do today, and I've been meaning to do a review on this saddle for a while, so let's talk about it. It's the SQlabs 60X, and I'd never heard of SQlabs until a video on an Australian bike fitter, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's great. Maybe I'll try to find a link to it. This guy was talking about if you have saddle issues, this saddle will probably be something that helps you out, and he highly recommended SQlabs saddles. So it's a German company. I've never really seen them on bikes. Not a lot of popularity. I actually ordered this saddle from their website directly for half price. This was last year's model. They recently revamped it, changed a few things about it, but for most part it's the same. Now the 60X, this is a mountain bike saddle. They call this a mountain bike saddle. In fact, they even call the e-bike saddle. And I think that's really just marketing terms, but maybe because it's kind of a little bit more of a upright saddle. So when you go to their website and you look at their different saddle recommendations, they have a real simple system. You're basically flat is time trials, aggressive, and then they call just sort of like road riding, and then they have just straight up and down, basically like commuter style. And they have saddles for all. And they have a big selection of saddles: mountain, road, commuter, time trial specific saddles. They got a lot of different things on their website. This one was half price. I got it for a little less than 100 bucks. And I'd been thinking about them for a while. When I saw this one, I was like, yeah, that could be the perfect gravel seat. I didn't really have a good seat for gravel. I've been riding my Roman road bike saddles, which was fine. But it can be a little bit harsh sometimes, on some rougher gravel roads. And I thought maybe a little bit more padding, a little bit more saddle would be great. One of the big selling points for me was that this saddle has an adjustable and elastomer system. Oddly enough, I haven't actually adjusted it yet. It comes with a light, medium, and heavy elastomer that goes in the back. And that to me just seems like a great idea, because that way you can kind of tune saddle stiffness to your weight. I mean, saddles are kind of all the same, even though riders are all different. They also come in a skinny, like a 130, a 140, and a 150 width. And I think some of their commuter saddles go up to maybe 170 or 180. So I bought the wide. I always like wider saddles. I tend to go with 150, 160 saddles. That seems to be the right fit for me. So construction of this saddle is very different from what I've seen in the past. It doesn't have a cover. That's really weird. There's no leather or synthetic cover. It's actually just this sort of foam that looks a lot like the soles. In fact, it's about the same kind of foam you'd find in the soles of an athletic shoe. It's kind of a bouncy foam, not real firm. So when you first look at it, you're like, ooh. It does have these kind of attached, glued on sort of smoother areas where you actually put weight on your saddle to ride. And that seems to work really well, because it doesn't feel any different than any other saddle I rode. It doesn't feel slick, maybe as slick as some, but it feels fine. It has this sort of upper shelf on the back, and then kind of you can see an obvious place where your sit bones are supposed to rest, and then it drops off, and it has very deep indentions. It's not a cutout, it doesn't go all the way through the saddle, which I think is a great idea, because to me cutouts, while I like them, I'm a fan of them, they also are an area where you're going to increase pressure, right? So this is just deep indention. The edges aren't going to increase pressure because it doesn't really have edges. It's just like a trough. Now that trough does hold water, which turns out to be a problem if you ride in the wet maybe. Setting up the saddle was really easy. I just put it on level. I didn't fuss with it. There wasn't a lot of adjustments. I just made sure the nose was level, and I just kind of used a bit of a measurement for the fore aft position. Basically, I measured from nose to the center of the bars, and it was perfect. I had no adjustments needed. In fact, height was also perfect. I didn't even measure. I just made my best guess for the height, and it seemed just right. I've used the bike on several gravel rides, some trainer rides, and I've loved it. It works really good. It's almost like that elastomer seems to soak up some of the impact. I feel just more relaxed and less pain and stuff at the end of a ride. It's really working good. I haven't tried it on the road bike yet. I haven't tried it on a mountain bike yet, but will soon. One of the ultimate tests for it was a marathon, and I know a marathon's big deal. It's 26.2 miles on a bike. It's not that long, But I did a marathon as a volunteer where I led the marathon on a bike. So I had to run at the pace of the lead rider, which was about a 9-mile-an-hour pace. Plenty fast for running, but very slow for cycling. And I put so much weight on my saddle, and it was just so slow. And at the same time, I was comfortable the whole time. Like, I could have just kept going at that pace all day, more comfortable. So I'm really looking forward to using this saddle as like a long distance. Like in my next century, I've got a cross state ride in June. I'm going to ride across Illinois again, so that's going to help a lot. Any kind of long distance riding, I think this saddle will be awesome. Really looking forward to some longer rides with it on a road bike, where that's usually where I feel worse, but it is a mountain bike saddle, so I might try one of the SQlabs actual road bike saddles next time I need a road bike saddle. Really seems like their design is very ergonomic. It seems like it works really well. So big fan so far. Support SQlabs if you're looking for something to try. It might work for you. See ya.